this evening. We are once again extremely privileged and honored to welcome back into our mosque after many occasions. He's been here before and addressed us. We are very honored to have with us once again Father Peter John Pearson, who's the Director of the Catholic Parliamentary Office at National Parliament. Of course, everybody knows, or most people should know, but for those visitors perhaps in our midst this evening, Father Peter John is one of the old stalwarts in the interfaith community, extremely active in issues of social justice, very present in the Palestinian cause, and very inspiring speaker that I'm sure, inshallah, we will all enjoy to listen from tonight. So we invite Father Peter John to address us. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
I'm doing tonight what I've told generations of students when I taught never to do. And that is to go into a space where you don't actually know what's going on. And I thought about it for a moment, then I thought, no, that's pure and utter nonsense. I'm walking into a space that I know, a space where I'm amongst friends, a space that speaks of hope, a space that speaks of courage, a space that speaks of looking forward to creating a new world and a different time and a different set of values, and finding in the heart of religion those things that bring out the best in us and that seek to shape a new world, so where divisions fall and are not as important, but we're working as human beings against the things that destroy humanity. That is important. And so I'm not in a space where I do not know what's going on. I might be in a space where I do not have the words to express what's going on tonight, but I'm in a space where courage abounds, where hope abounds, where peaceful possibility abounds, and where the commitment to pull down every tyrant lies in the heart of each one of us. I come into a place where I've known friendship. I come into a place where, while I might not understand the theology of what goes on tonight, I come into a place where I've known the theology that allows us to stand up for Palestine, to decry the genocide and the ethnic cleansing and the dehumanization of the people on the West Bank, and the people across that area, that kind of language that we agree on when we speak of standing in support of Iran in this war against the viciousness of two powerful countries that have seen what seemingly small countries can do. I stand in a place tonight that has stood alongside, and I know this for the truth, alongside those in our own country who feel despised and who feel rejected and who feel that they have no place of belonging, that the cry that they utter from their hearts around the injustices they still suffer, the alienation they feel, the exploitation that is their daily bread. I come into a place tonight where that language doesn't divide us, but that language unites us, so that we know that divided we will fall, but together we'll stand up and face down every enemy that seeks to bring our people down. I stand tonight in a place that is distinguished. That is distinguished because it also knows with a magnificent clarity and with an utmost beauty what religions the world over who stand with the people know, and know with clarity and beauty and nobility. That every one of us owes it to our broken, fragmented, divided, unjust, warring world, that the beliefs we hold in private must have public significance. Religion and events that shape our religion, such as these days, are not meant for our personal piety. They are meant, and if they are meant for our personal piety, then they are meant to nurture us personally so that we can have public significance. No person of faith, whatever creed you belong to, no person of faith can say, I stand for this, and then not see what it does in the public domain. Unless we unless we carry and reinterpret in our hearts the things that have been passed on to us from of old, we do not have a lens, we do not have, as they say in theology, a hermeneutic through which to see things, and so we run like scattered sheep. The enemy has a chance to divide us and to rule over us and to herd us into the most reactionary of activities and the most reactionary of thought patterns. No, when we believe in our hearts, when we hold something pious in our spirits, then we need to search for that equivalence in the public space. We cannot stand for life and then not support those who are suffering across the world. We cannot stand for peace across the world if we are not looking into the spaces in our own communities and into the practices that we often cultivate that divide people, that cause some to feel they have no home in this country. We hear in our hearts as we do that the words of the great, wonderful Nkosi Albert Lutuli, who said that South Africa must become a home for all. And that's what we're here to create. That's what we're here to take our privately held beliefs, to shape them into public significance so that everyone can inherit their birthright. I want to say tonight that the third reason I look forward always to coming here is not that it seems that whenever I come here, inevitably there's a dinner that follows after that, and that's a very tempting little PS to every invitation I get to be here. But I want to say tonight that when we think of martyrs, when we think of the whole vocabulary around martyrdom that has shaped our world, when we hear the cries of martyrs and we know in our hearts that every time the blood of martyrs is shed, the seedbed of all our tomorrows emerge, we draw on it. We draw on it. We immerse ourselves in that tradition of martyrdom so that the blood turns into and runs through and seeps into the soil, which will nurture new generations to stand up, new generations to take on our enemies, new generations to speak a word of hope, new generations to give the example of courage. This place, every worship place in this country and across the world must be places of martyrdom, at least to the degree that they bring to life, that they seed the comrades, the militants of tomorrow. We are called, our spaces, our theologies, our worship is called to be the seedbed of those who will stand up with courage in the days that lie ahead. And therefore, this place and every other place that speaks of faith, that draws from the depth of religion, that knows the limitlessness and the beauty of worship that transcends any word we can speak, any song we can sing, any prayer we can pray, that kind of worship that explodes into the universe and gives it shape and meaning, is also the very legacy of hope the very legacy of hope that we leave to the generations to come. Martyrs do not die in vain. In dying, they point us to the shape of tomorrow. And until we can say that we take on that legacy, and we contextualize it and we make it our own, until we can say with clean hearts, with pure hearts and clean hands, this is the task we will do for the future, this is what we owe others, to create a new world, we will have lost the bearing of our faith, and we would have devalued the witness of our martyrs. May it never be so for those of us who gather here tonight. Might we, in the critical moments of history, might we be the people who stand up and are counted, the people who say no to imperialism, the people who say no to oppression, the people who say no to old ideas. The other night I was reading, for a totally different reason, some of the work of Milton Keynes, and he says in one of his lines, he says those magnificent words, he says it's not so very difficult to struggle to create and to popularize a new idea. What is really difficult is to let go of the chains that hold us to outmoded ideas. This must be a place of creativity. Creativity and hope, thinking broadly, acting lovingly, and working for justice. And then the blood of the martyrs would not have been in vain. Amen.